that we are delighted to welcome Yael, Me'eretz Israel, and RJ, Miss Stanford, Connecticut. So here we are on the eve of, oh, Nima, hello. Okay, here we are on the eve of a new year, Rosh Hashanah. It's going to be 5781, and I think that everyone will forgive me. Tekiah, etc. So this is the finest shofar from a plastic sheep. So anyway, the Jewish Historical Society of Fairfield County welcomes you this morning at about 10 a.m. and this morning at about 5 p.m. To our fabulous book talks. And our book talks are underwritten by Marcy Schoenfeld in honor of her beloved parents, Rose and Abraham Schoenfeld, and Eileen Belinsky and Susan Trotz in memory of their beloved parents, Eleanor and Nathan Belinsky. My name is Elisa Kaplan. I'm president of the Jewish Historical Society of Fairfield County, and we're delighted to see everybody here today. Nancy, hi. So, and Rhonda, we have, and David, we have all kinds of new people here. And Nima, hi. We have new people here today for an exciting poetry insight to get us ready for the new year and to make us stronger through this special and unusual time of a pandemic. It is indeed an honor and a pleasure to present Yael Stolarsky from Israel and RJ Richard Schwartz from Stanford.
I want to welcome everybody from the bottom of my heart for taking the time out to join Yael and I. And I want to particularly thank Alyssa and Marcy. 5 years ago, came up with the idea, discovered that I have a passion for poetry and music, and getting this program started with O. Berger, Yael Stolarsky, Noah Bober, and David Citron. Continuing it going, I also want to thank Relly Coleman. Relly, welcome. I'm so glad you're able to show up. Relly extended this series into Westport for the Israeli Food Fair and Festival 2 years ago. And Yael and I presented our program there in front of many, many people that were enjoying great food from Israel. I also want very briefly to thank 3 people who are no longer here. My mom, Nachama Hadassah, a beautiful lady who spent 2 years in Israel at age 18. She was going to stay in Israel. She met a boy, she fell in love, but the family wishes. Her father was a very well-known rabbi, and he said, no, you're coming back, you're going to marry an American boy. And so, but she spent 2 great years, and she loves poetry, songs. She taught songs at the synagogue, and she has even graduates that are living here in Connecticut that look back 30 years, more than 30 years. Okay. I'm dedicating the program to my mom, dedicating it to Tamar Gershberg, a very dedicated lady of great learning, and was very involved in Mitzvah Israel. She wrote plays and poetry and music, and she taught at the day school at Agudat Shalom. She's no longer with us, but she came to every session from the beginning. And also my dear friend who was a chavus, a study partner, Dr. Wolfson, Dr. Alfred Wolfson, who was a brilliant physician. Many of you knew him. He came to every session too. Okay, so let's launch into this. We are going to try to get to 6 poems. If we get to 4 or 5, I'll be happy. But very quickly, these poems are designed to indicate how you are able to, through music and poetry, through song, to take yourself and to extend yourself beyond yourself, because we're all frozen in time. It's like the dog days of summer. The very first poem, which is called Days of White, written by Leah Goldberg, lived 1911 to 1970. She was a famous poet, author, playwright, literary translator. She translated War and Peace into Hebrew. And she wrote this beautiful poem called Days of White. And I just want you to keep in mind that, like Yael will explain, that there was a progression in these poems from people being totally alone to being people connecting with each other. And that's the way we started this 5 years ago with Bialik's poem, Levadi Alone. Bialik, who was the great poet of, the original poet, Israeli poet, wrote a beautiful poem called He Was All Alone. So we start off with a poem written by Leah Goldberg. I'll turn it over to Yael.
Okay, so I'm not sure I need to because I really recognize the vast majority here, but I'll just say I'm Yael Stolarsky. I was the Israeli emissary, the Shlicha in Stanford from 2016 till 2018, which was a real pleasure. That reached out to me a few months ago. Nancy, don't cry. When Richard reached out to me 2 months ago, I really couldn't say no because it was another opportunity for me to speak to the community that I loved and I still love so much. And especially in these times, you know, if you ask Israeli artists, how's it going for them when there are no concerts, no shows, no theater? This is like the worst time to be a poet or singer or an actor. And so I think it's really a good thing what we're doing here, appreciating and talking about these songs that in the day-to-day lives, you know, Israelis do not really think about the lyrics. And doing this with Richard made me think about the lyrics of the songs that I actually grew up on, you know, in kindergarten, listening to the songs, but never really thinking about the words. And so just like Richard said, we're taking you through a perfect. So again, as they just said, we're gonna go through a path. I think that's where I was thrown up. And we're gonna go through the songs and we chose the order not by chance, but we kind of chose to go through something from one song to another. And I hope you feel it. So let's start. I'm gonna send in the chat for those who don't have it, the file with the program itself, so you can have the lyrics yourself. I just sent it and I see it will be sent in a second. There it is. So if one person can tell me they downloaded it successfully, that would be great. And I'm gonna share a screen so we can play the first song that Richard mentioned. It's called White Days by Leah Goldberg. Leah Goldberg wrote the song. Was one of the biggest songs. Can you all hear me? Just making sure. Good, perfect. It's really hard without the face-to-face real thing. So Leah Goldberg wrote the song when she was 21 in Germany for her major in literature, and she was very young, became very successful, one of the prominent songs in Israel. And a fun, very interesting fact, I have 100 shekel bill, Israeli money. So I was saying this is 100 shekel bill, and the first two words of the song are right here. Very interesting. I'm not sure about this one, but it was very, very big and influential. So I get that thing.
לוח שעון את מרוץ הדקים, ישרים גבוהים הקשרים בינינו מחר. לבבי מתרגל עצום ומונה במתינות דפיקותיו, ולמתק הקצב עליו מתבייש לבטל. כתינוק מזמר שירה זו טרם ספורת עיניו, את האם עליה מסע מזמר נרדמה.
Okay.
All right, now you should hear me.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, so this is a poem that is beautiful, and it's beautiful for me because the image here is of someone in the throes of summer. It's like the dog days of summer, which we just left here in Connecticut, and now we're into fall very abruptly. However, here she is in the throes of summer. The days are long and white. They're white because the sun is directly overhead. And there is vast, peaceful loneliness. Shalvut bididut gedola al marchav hanahar. There is she's very calm across a river. So there's going to be a movement across water, which is good. Every time there's water is involved, that water symbolizes life. It symbolizes knowledge. And windows are open wide. She's in a room like we are. We've been in rooms for the last 6 months. And she's looking out to Chelet Demama, to the silent blue. So there's a world out there she wants to connect to. And there's a way for her to connect to this world through straight and high bridges. Gesharim, Yesharim, Gvohim. The bridges are high. That signifies there'll be difficulty, perhaps getting across. But there are bridges between yesterday and tomorrow. And that's very significant because she's not stuck in the present. There's a fluidity going from past Ha'aver to the future Ha'atid, and she's a part of this. She's a part of the stream of growth. So it's easy to bear silence, white and empty days. So she's alone, as we can see her. Her eyes have learned to smile, okay, and ceased long ago to hasten the race of thin lines of the clock. This is a beautiful metaphor there's a clock, and the clock is ticking off seconds. It's like almost like an hour clock, but this is a second clock. Looking at the seconds, and when you look at the clock, you're very aware of time. You're aware of the slow passage of time or the quick passage of time. But here, she is in the flow of it. She's learned to tune off the hastening of time. So she's be able to look at herself in the moment. In the moment, the dog days of summer. She's slowing down, looking at herself and looking how beautiful. There's a connection between who she was yesterday, who she will be tomorrow. There's all kinds of image of hope here. So she says, "L'vavi hitragel el atzmo umaneh b'mtinut diffikotav." Her heart is used to itself and it's counting its beatings leisurely. Very important, b'mitinot, very slowly. She's really comfortable with her own body rhythms and almost like a yoga, putting herself into this yoga mindfulness, as we say in jargon today. And she's in tune to the sweetness of the soft rhythm, the matok tiktav harech mitpayim. The sweetness of soft rhythm, it reconciles, gives in, and she's relaxed. She is in tune with nature. She's in tune with the blue horizon outside. She's in tune with the gesher, the bridge across time. And this is the way the poem ends. Ketinok mizmor shir esho terem saguretanam. She's like a babe singing its own lullaby before closing its eyes. She's so comfortable and so a part of her life. She slowed down the heartbeat, where she's not even almost aware of the heartbeat. Slow down the passage of time. And she's lulled into a beautiful sleep. She falls asleep as if a mother, okay, has stopped her singing. And then she falls asleep. The child falls, the mother falls asleep. It's a beautiful poem of hope. This poem is one of radical hope. That's what we need more than ever in these times, is this layat kind of poem to arouse us from our torpor. You know, we're being frozen in time, frozen in our cubicles, in our silos, and come out into the clear blue and breathe the beautiful air. Okay, go ahead, Yael.
You know, there are actually, it depends, you know, each song you can interpret the way you want it to be. And I'm with you, Richard. We can see the hope in it. We can see that she wants to face the loneliness, the solitude. She wants to deal with it. But then, you know, there is the pessimistic attitude that could say that, you know, you talked about the high, long bridges. It sounds like maybe it's something that you can't reach. And that's why she talks about it. Or maybe the bridges take you from yesterday to tomorrow, but tomorrow we don't see any interest or any emotion in tomorrow. It's only a bridge to what comes next. But, you know, those who took the more pessimistic attitude or interpretation to the song say that those bridges are actually what prevents her from reaching to a better future and only to tomorrow. And tomorrow doesn't necessarily have anything good in it, as at least if we refer to these specific lyrics. But then on the other hand, it's some people say it's ambivalent. You know, there are like mixed feelings to loneliness, because the melody, I don't know if you guys noticed, and if you even heard it because of the Zoom technical issues, but the melody is quite relaxed and it's simple and it's very, it's a good melody. It's not a melody of a bad, pessimistic song only about loneliness. So that might help us also take like the side of the hope and be more through, there is something good. And she's, just like Richard said, she's in walls, and maybe the nature in the song that she refers to kind of compensate her for the bad, lonely days that she had in the city, perhaps. That's also something that comes to mind when we think about it.
I think we have covered most of the, just about all of the ideas here. I agree with you. It is ambiguous. It's ambiguous, but it does end on a very soft, sweet lullaby, you know, of just kind of giving in to whatever, wherever you are. Just give in, accept it, and move on. and try to reconcile yourself, like she says, to be able to reconcile yourself, that key word in the third sentence before the end, sweetness of the soft rhythm. It reconciles, gives in and relaxes. Okay, that's the idea. It's just go with the flow, because you don't know where it's leading to. Like Al says, the future could be even more disastrous than where you are right now. If we just go along with the flow, and it's going to be okay. That's how she leaves me here.
Yeah, she takes on the bittersweet, and she embraces it, and she deals with it in a hope for something better. And I think that something better we'll find in our next song. Look how I made a smooth transformation to our second one. The second song is Yad B'Yad, Hand in Hand, by Ofra Chaza. Ofra Chaza was a very famous Israeli female singer. She was huge in Israel in the 80s. She was the best Israeli singers and the one that sold the most albums throughout the years. And even more than that, I think she was one of the only Israeli singers who was nominated for a Grammy for her world music album. So very, very big. She passed away years ago, and some people say it cut her career, and she made a lot of Israelis very, very proud. And this song, I would say, is something that we all know. As I said at the beginning, every Israeli knows those songs, but we never kind of stop and think about the words and about what it means. So that's what I'm hoping we'll do now. I'm going to share a second screen with you, and hopefully we can hear it. So as you can see, this is more simple. The lyrics are quite simple and much more optimistic. As we told you, we're taking you from the worst to the better throughout from one song to another. And this one is just very optimistic. It talks about putting your hands in mine and everything will be better. All you need to do is put your hands in mine. And if you'll only give me your hand, we'll march down the entire road and things will be better. Now, what I saw in this, which was, at least to me, kind of stood out, is hand in hand for the lovers and hand in hand for the soldiers who are returning home again. And the word returning is repeating twice. And at least for me, it's very Israeli, you know, soldiers returning home. It's two sentences in a song, but for us Israelis, it's just part of the way we live. So when we see soldiers, it's just our day-to-day lives. Returning home, it's something, if you ask every Israeli mother, that's what she's looking for, she hopes for her son, her soldier, to return home. And returning home is a good thing. It makes you smile, it makes you think about family, being together, and that's what I think also connects the song that talks about togetherness. And Richard, if you probably would like to add.
Well, you know, throughout these poems, light is very important image, and your spirit needs not only water. Waters are very positive, like the Nachal and the prior poem, the rivers indicating movement forward, but light in the distance, light in the heavens, to hope in dreams, hatikva. Or is a very constant image throughout these poems. And I agree that this is you march hand in hand. That's the only way we're going to make progress if we join together the acher, which we've been discussing five years now, reaching out to the other, whoever that other is, and making that other a part of your life and helping the other, because that's the way we're going to grow as a people, as a nation, not only Jewish people, but as a community, as a nation. We need to reach out and understand the viewpoint of others, the soldiers that are coming back. Make them feel at home. The lovers, you know, that have been separated because of various reasons, you know, we respect them. But I think we should go on.
Yes, so the third one was written in 1986. It's called Darkenu, which is our path, our way in English. It was the soundtrack of an Israeli TV series, was very, very famous back at the day. In Hebrew, we say Aburganim, which means the upper middle class Israelis. And I would say it's kind of the version of Friends that was in Israel at the beginning of the 2000s, and very famous series. We're gonna watch the video clip, and the two actresses of this series actually performed this song. And the director of the TV series said that he had a scene in a wedding. You know, we go through the life, the routine of them, just like Rachel and Ross in Friends. And there is one scene that occurs in a wedding, and a good friend is giving like a gesture to the groom and the bride, and she presented them, or she sings them a song that has a bitter message, but it's very optimistic. And she warns them that the road is not shiny and it's not easy, but they should still walk in it. And I think that's something very, very Israeli. We know the road is not easy. It's never easy for us. But we walk, and we walk with pride, and we overcome challenges that we have on the way. And that's why this song was...
Because it's our way.
It's our way. Thank you. I have to say also, I have to add, my mother is a literature teacher, and a lot of the things, she knows these songs much better than I. So don't be too modest. So anyway, this one was the soundtrack of the TV series. And the director said that writing this scene in the wedding, he kind of knew that that's going to be the song. But more than that, it was written as a personal song. And a few years after, there was the second Intifada in Israel. A lot of terror attacks, and people, thousands of Israelis were murdered. And this song got a whole different national meaning because it speaks exactly about what we just said, what my mom said. This is our way, and it's not easy. And the prime minister at the time, Ariel Sharon, even talked about it when he gave an interview to the media, when he referred to this crazy situation he had. He said, just like those two singers say, this is a road, it's not easy. So that was a long intro. I'm gonna actually share the screen again and play this one. Okay, there it is.
Okay, now.
this is a beautiful poem. It's a sad poem. It builds upon the first poem that we read, the Leah poem, of loneliness and sadness. The path is long, the light is dim. We have candlelight throughout this. We have windows here. We have people in bedrooms and not connected to nature. It's dark, and the path is difficult, and eyes are sad. And what we have here is a beautiful image. Od sodot porchim yesh lefanenu, od harim kvohim v'sonenei piskaot. That the idea here, the path is long and lonely, it's sad, but there is tikva, there's hope in the form of blossoming fields that are before us, even though it's dark now. There are more high mountains. It's like that gesher, the high bridge in the first poem. But we have cool summits. The summits are struggles. They're high mountains, the summits. Reaching the summit is a lot of effort. Whether you're going to go to Everest or you're going to go to a small mountain up in New Hampshire. But the summits are cool. They're refreshing. The effort will be worth it, okay? We have storms here in the second paragraph. The storms have passed. We now have more calm. We have light. The road is still long. The journey is not over. So this is a progressive journey. And it's a love poem in a sense, because we have in the next to last paragraph, we see Sim Shel Or B'Nemotayach. Fragments of light are in your tears. Though you are sad and you are struggling, there is a possibility. There is a siman, a symbol of light. And the smile again gropes its way toward me. V'chiyuk shuv megashesh darchu elai. There's reaching out, people to people. All the good is still before you. Kol hatuv adon lefanayach. And here's the key thing. Simu rosh al katfi tenili yad yadecha biyadi. Put your head on my shoulder. Put your hand on mine. Let's join together. So we have a very strong image of going together. But the candle is dying out in the last paragraph, okay? It will die out, okay? And very soon, this quietness that the couple, whoever they are, will be routed. It will be suddenly, you'll be waken up by reality, the commotion of the day. Amolat hayom, tatchil livkoa. The commotion of the day will begin to break through, but you won't walk alone, okay? Though there'll be tough times ahead. We'll be coming out of our little reverie here, our little cocoon of love, and we're going to we have hard reality, but we can make it together because we will never walk alone. I will be there with you. We are yad b'yad, yachad b'yachad. We are together. So our dark path, the darkness will come into full light as you enter the real world. And it's a beautiful poem. I think it's more optimistic than it is pessimistic, in my humble opinion. Go ahead.
So yeah, we're in a process of squeezing the lemon. You also have this phrase, right?
Yes.
Squeezing the lemon. So we started from the lemon, right? From being all by yourself, lonely, a lot of solitude, and now we're kind of moving towards being together, holding hand in hand, realizing, not kind of ignoring it, but realizing that the road is not easy, but we still take it. And it brings to mind, there is an Israeli phrase we always say, no matter what, we say, yeah, beseder, it will be okay, it will be fine. And I think that's something that represents this last one very, very deeply. Now we'll move to the fourth one called Shevet Achim V'Achayot. It's a very special one. It's new. It was out in 2019 during Passover, and it was written by Doron Madali, who is an Israeli artist that always writes songs for the Eurovision contest. Some of you, or even all of you, know it. It's very big in Israel because this is a European song contest that occurs once a year, and we always send an Israeli singer and a song that represents us, and we even won a few times, and 3 or 4 years ago was our last win. And so he's quite big, and the melody was by Dan Reichel, who is also, until this day, the last, I think, decade, he's the singer of the decade, we can say, in Israel. Very famous. And the purpose of this song that we'll play in a second was to actually unify Israelis. These last few years have not been, it's never easy, as we just said, and it's kind of meant to show that we can overcome all the conflict within us, in the society, and sing together. And we can see it in a second, we'll see the video clip, I'll show it. 34 Israeli singers of all genres, all different people, they're all Israeli singers, joined to sing the song, and the profits of this video clip all go to an organization, a non-profit organization that's supposed to help youth that comes from hard, challenging backgrounds, youth at risk. And it's a very special song because you have 34 Israeli singers, each chose a place to kind of take a selfie, a video selfie of them singing. They chose a place that is meaningful for them. And there are a lot of different performances. I can also say that Birthright, American Birthright participants even took this song and made a big version of it. You can look it up online. You'll find it really everywhere. So that's Shevet Achim V'Achayot. I'll play it, and I'm hoping you'll see the video clip.
אני נוסע ומעלי על מאיה ומניה ואך נפשי עוד הומיה מהמצדה של הזיכרון ירושלים בסליחות בחוף כנרת ואכסיר מהמסיבות של תל אביב אבי חלם והתפלל לחיות בארץ ישראל, היום ילדי אותי שואל, מה הסיפור של ישראל? כאן זה בית, כאן זה לב, ואותך אני לא עוזב, אבותינו שורשים, ואנחנו הפרחים המנגינות. שבת אחים ואחיות, אותה שכונה, אותו רחוב, וסרבנים של יעקב, עושים ביחד נדודים, בתוך תמיד גרבים, אדמות ומולדות, חורת קווים בכף ידו. תפילות לנדרים, ריחות בגן של הדרים, ובעיניה שלי תמיד אמצא את מקומי, על הגיטרה מתנגן, ניגון עתיק שמחבר, כאן זה בית, כאן זה לב, ואותך אני לא עוזב, אבותינו שורשים, ואנחנו הפרחים המנגינות, שבת אחים ואחיות. בראשית הכל תפור, פלאים פלאים של הסיפור, כמו שתי מילים להתחבר, בחוט זהב של משורר, אני מכאן אני שולח, וכל חבר שלי כמוה, הדבורים את בלבבי, אני מזרח מערבי, כאן צלם ואותך אני לא עוזב, אבותינו שורשים, ואנחנו הפרחים המנגינות. שבת אחים ואחיות. זה בית, כאן זה לב, ואותך אני לא עוזב. אבותינו השורשים, ואנחנו הפרחים, המנגינות, שבט אחים ואחיות.
I'll show the lyrics, Richard, but stage is all yours.
Yes.
I just thought I'd leave the lyrics so everyone could see, but we can hear you and see you. If someone can just unmute themselves so I know you see the lyrics.
Yes, we see it.
Perfect. So this one talks about a home, a heart, and as I said before, it is meant to kind of ignore for a second all the conflict and all the challenges we have within, inside Israeli society, which, as some of you know, we have many of those. Many arguments, even if it's politics or the security situation and whatnot. So this one is meant to kind of remind us our roots, our land, Eretz Israel, that is kind of something that we all should. I think what's special about it, it takes some of the Israeli anthem, the Atikva, Ve'ech nafshi odomiya, and how my soul still yearns, which is taken from the Atikva. And there are some phrases here from Chernichovsky. Let me find it. I see the Hebrew one. But it's taking a lot of special phrases, either from the history or from the Bible or from the Israeli anthem, and combines it all together with more modern slang words. And I think it's meant for us all to kind of connect to it, because at the end of the day, here is home and here is a heart. And as you saw, I didn't want to mention it, at the end of the video clip, you can see our president, Reuven Rivlin, phrases the chorus of the song, the most important words. Here is a home, here is a heart, and I will not leave you no matter what. We will always have our land, which we love so much, our ancestors, our roots, and we are the flowers, the melodies, and at the end of the day, we are one tribe, you know, if we want it or not, one tribe of brothers and sisters, and that's why 34 different singers all gathered together for this special 4.5 minutes. Yes.
What I so much admire about this is that the singers don't know each other. Maybe a few of them do, but they really do not. Each one has his own genre. Each one has his own style. Each one has his own color of skin. It doesn't matter where you're from, but that they all, like Yael says, it's one fabric. It's one mosaic. It's one beautiful window, pattern window, different colors, rainbow curriculum, attached to the land. That's very, very important here, is the idea of each one connects to wherever he or she is in Israel, whether it's in Darom, it's Afon, north, south, east, west. They all are together. And a man is the imprint of his native land. He etches lines in the palm of his hand. Between the prayers and the vows, scents of citrus trees. It's beautiful, the scent of citrus trees. It's always that land that reminds us that we are connected. And we are very thankful that we have the land. And that's what prayer is all about. Prayer is just being thankful that we have land here on the East Coast. I emphasize that. We have our land to protect, and it's a message that we need as brothers to really take care of and not take for granted the land that we've been given in Israel and wherever we are in the world, is to respect the Adamah, the land, and replete it. Give every 7 years, let the land rest, let it recuperate and go on and give thanks traditionally. But it's a beautiful poem, and I'm awestruck every time I listen to it and watch it.
So now once we're united, we'll go to another song, more of a classic, but also same optimistic, positive point of view. It's called Ani Ve'ata, Me and You and I by Arik Einstein, was also a very, very famous Israeli singer. There are a lot of different performances to this one. It was first published in 1971, and even got an Italian band to play it and to use the melody for years and years until they got the permission to actually have the rights for it. That's an interesting fact. And Arik Einstein was really, I want to say, there was a music critic that spoke about him when he died, and he said he was much more than just the biggest Israeli singer. He was himself the true Israel, the real true Israel, land of Israel. And I think that really what he was, because a lot of different songs, and I won't be surprised if Richard and I already took one of his songs for other session. It just kind of walks with us through our lives, no matter how years have passed since he passed away, or since the songs were out. It's still very, very relevant, very Israeli. And every time, at least I hear it, I feel like it touches me in the inside. And even the ambassador of Israel in the UN, the former ambassador, said that the lyrics of this song actually talks about the idea of which the UN was based upon, which is very interesting as well. So let's play this one.
אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה, אז יבואו כבר כולם. אמרו את זה קודם לפניי, לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. I
So another one, quite simple in its words. You and I will change the world. We'll start and the rest will follow us. Again, with this idea that we can do things alone. And this specific year brought us all to spend more time, I guess, than we wanted or hoped for, alone by ourselves between a few walls. And this one especially says that it's quite simple. You and I can change the world, and with us, the rest will follow. Other people will follow. And I think it's a great idea that, you know, it's a classic, but it's very, very relevant today. And it says it will be tough for us, but it doesn't matter. It's not too bad. Again, as I said before, it's not ignoring anything or like being naive. It says it's bad, but it's not too bad. We can still do it. Just like the path is not easy, but we should still take it. So I guess this idea follows to kind of, we see the reality as we see it, as we interpret it. And the reality is the reality. It stands for what it is, but it depends how we take it. And this song and the songs that we showed you, they all take it from different perspectives. But I guess you can see how we started from the lemon and we want to finish in the lemonade.
Yes, it's a beautiful poem. It's a beautiful ending. And I love these words here. Amru et ze kodem lefanai lo mishaneh. People have said it before us that they're going to change the world. Or they said it before us that it's going to be difficult. It doesn't matter what went before you, what was on one side of the bridge, because you can take it right across that high bridge, take it right across the cool summit mountains and make a difference. You and your partner, you and your group, you and your children, your grandchildren, whoever it is, you can change. You have to be the change that you want to see in the world. You have to make it happen in any which way possible. And the road is long and full of fear and trepidation, but we can do it together. Yad b'yad. Do we have time to hear a little bit of Techazakna? What do you think? There is
the long version and the short one. I'll play the short one.
Short version. Yeah, the reason I'm playing this is because Tamar Gershberg, beautiful lady, kept telling me, and Hanoch, who couldn't make it today, Hanoch Nof, who's living in Israel, that this song was the alternate anthem of Israel, written by Chaim Nachman Bialik, and it really was like number one, and the Tikva came and pushed it aside. But this is a beautiful poem of men and women, Achim v'Achot, working the land together. This is a poem of Achdus, it's a poem of Tzionut, of Zionism, but it's working, uniting us together. It's hard. We're not sure we're going to overcome the battle. Yaakov overcoming the battle against all forces of and Zerubbabel. But together, we can come together and make it happen. Go ahead, play a little bit.
So as mentioned before, it was the first Aliyah, and then it was adopted as the anthem of the second and third Aliyah, became like the anthem of socialist group. And it was the short version because the long is quite long, but you can see in the lyrics, again, it's the same ideas, only this time it's before Israel was established. It's kind of the same idea that went with us in 70 years, and even before Israel was what it is today. And I think it's very special, you know, kind of the spirit, and let not your spirit fall. Happy ones rejoice. Come as one to support the people. That is our core. That is as one of the base to what we've been established on, and it comes with us until today. It was.
Yeah, I like the idea of the time for redemption has come. It's now. That Bialik back in the 1930s wrote this song. He was such a fantastic writer and had so much passion for the land and for the people, and above all, for the culture, for the traditional culture. Here's a man that rebelled against, you know, his yeshiva learning in Volozhin in Vilna, but kept very close to the fervor that has always been a part of the Jewish people, being kept together through hope and prayer. Return to the land. That was the idea. Shuv, one of the other poems. The soldiers coming back, the people coming back, the lovers coming back, waking up at and to the reality of work. And this is the epitome of togetherness, that we build the country up. Even before the state of Israel was established, Bialik had a beautiful message of hope, courage, strength, labor. Above all, we must work together. That was the work ethic. My mom was drawn into that. She loved it. She wanted to stay. And so we finish up with that. And now, do we have time for questions? Alyssa,
Yes, I'll take some questions.
Yes, comments, questions about the lyrics, about...
Not about the tech, though. We are not responsible for any technical problems.
But we're overcoming. The bridge is high and long, the summit is high, but we're cool people. We're staying cool, and I really appreciate everybody coming and being a part of this. Very exciting. I know that it's a pleasure. I want to mention this to Aviva. It's a pleasure working with Yael. She is a gem, and she is a credit to any organization that she sets her mind to. She will be a blessing of achdus, of togetherness, bringing people together. She is a wonderful person, and we hope for continued connection with our group and for many years to come.
I'd like to add to that we miss you so much, Yael, because we miss your intelligence, and we miss your bright ideas, and we miss your open heart and your outreach to everybody that you ran into, and we miss the kind of world that you created while you were here, and really no one else has really done it in the way you did. And so we still are enjoying those memories and thinking about you, but we don't have to enjoy those memories because here you are. So
we're carrying into the future. We're making the past into the present and into the future. It's a perfect illustration of continuing to bring the light, because wherever I feel, where Yael is, I feel a part of a very strong light of hope, courage, strength, wisdom, intelligence, tactfulness, diplomacy. Whatever you decide to go into, I'm sure you'll be a blessing to any group that you decide to join, whatever career path that you take. It's a pleasure to work with you and hear your insights, and always to the point. And there's always to the point. And
Now I'm happy that we're Zooming because you cannot see how blushed I am by your words. And I couldn't do it without you, Richard. Of course, I think we work so good together, the way we prepare for it, and we kind of each know the other sides, what they can do, and it works really good. And what you said, Alyssa, it moved me because I got back to Israel and I continued my life here, and I do things and I study, but I'll always have this piece of me. It's like a cliche, but it's real. This piece of me is still in Stanford, and I think the time I spend there will always stay in my heart. And so thank you for saying that, because it means a lot, really.
Well, and Richard, yes, excellent. You were the one that that had this idea to begin with 5 years ago, and look where it's taken us, out into the universe.
Yeah, and there's more to come. There is more to come. You know, the bridge may be long and high, and the mountains are high, but there is a lot more good that we can do by joining together, and it's a very unusual synchronicity, a very unusual blending of passion that I have with Yael. Very unusual, and I intend to continue it. And whether it's at Curly's Diner, it could be a downtime diner in Tel Aviv one day. My grandfather is buried in Tel Aviv, and I'm going to make a journey back there shortly, and I do look forward to continuing this event, maybe doing it together from Israel one day, and making one of my dreams come true, because it is a very special land and special people, and we need to really pull together more than ever now. I can see that these plagues are just a wake-up call of crossing the bridge. It's a wake-up call. We just got to get off and really work together and see how we can change the world, make it a better world for our children. That's what it's all about.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
And Marcy?
Well, Yael had originally asked any comments or questions, and my comment is the song with the 26 or 36 Israeli singers.
35.
You said 35. Okay, you said it was from 2019, and what struck me is right now all those kinds of songs are being done now during the pandemic and being put together the same way, and so they were so much ahead of themselves in 2019 when that's what's happening now for all these kinds of productions. So it just struck me.
Very
so
good.
you know that, Israeli election, you guys know that politics in Israel for the last two and a half years have been a mess. I'm just saying it as it is. It's been a real mess. We had our third elections a few months ago. We didn't have a functioning Knesset and a functioning government for a year and a half. And it's been quite bad in terms of the conflict, the political conflict, the right to the left and the center. We've been arguing through Facebook and every media channel. And I think this song, and you're right, Marcy, it came before the pandemic, was meant to kind of bring us together on the political level. And now more than ever, it brings us together not only on the political level, but kind of on the very, very base of our living, which is being healthy and take care of ourselves and being with our families. Touches even a deeper point than just politics, which was our problem in 2019. Now we have a few other problems to deal with. I'm sure you have to.
Just a few.
Okay, so are there any other comments or questions from anyone? Just want to say, and again, also we have just a special hello to Aviva Stolarsky. Didn't realize that you were mom. Obviously Yael wouldn't be here without you. So, and we've heard a lot of great things about your learning and your teaching, and also that you're a great mom. So we've heard about you. So thank you for showing up today and always.
We also know where she gets her good looks from.
There you go.
That-
Okay.
I didn't mean that to be sexist, but I guess it came out that way.
Yeah, okay. So let me just say, go ahead.
No, I'm so exciting to hear what you say. Thank you.
So a very happy and healthy Shana Tova Umetuka. A very
Shana
happy.
Tova. Happy New Year to all of you.
Shana
All the
Tova,
best.
everyone.
Thank you. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. Thank you, Aviva, for coming.
יעלי, כל
Thank
כך
you.
שנה
נהנה
טובה.
לראות אותך.
כיף לראות אותך, רלי.
Much.
כן,
Great seeing
שנה
everyone.
טובה.
שנה
Thank you.
טובה.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Next year, Aviva, and everybody. Look-
Yes, next year.
Actually, maybe Aviva, you'll do, maybe we can have some presentation from you, Aviva. But that'll be the day,
Yael
right?
will help me. Thank you so much. Shana Tova.
Shana-
Good health and happiness. Thank you very much.
And health. Briut.
Yes, Briut, Briut, and also Briut, and again Briut. Thank you.
Thank you.
Briut and Od Briut. Okay, RJ, another success.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thanks, Richard. It was actually wonderful. And look forward to next year.